Hello and welcome to my unboxing and first look at another orc model. This time it's in the form of Kaptain Badrukk, a pirate orc, one of the chief flash kits. Fantastic mini. It stood the test of time in my opinion, and will go very well with the rest of your flash kit, which is another awesome kit. So set you back £15, comes in this blister pack, and it's made out of fine cast. So let's release the captain, release the kraken. So let's see if we can actually get him out there. This is the thing. So no instructions as usual, but you do get a 40mm base, and this is his body. It consists of 4 parts, so I should technically build him in about 3 minutes. But yeah, this is his body. You've got an excellent looking cloak. He's got loads of teeth. I mean, he's a flash kit, so he's rich beyond imagination. You know, you can see the amount of gold teeth and things. This cloak is actually called the gold teeth armor, I think, which gives him an invulnerable save. He's got some kind of power pack thing that leads to his custom shooter there. Looks fantastic, and you've got a load of teeth and a human skull in that chest there. So I guess he's you know, got loads of chests full of teeth. That is the orc currency, by the way. And then the second sprue, you've got his big knife. That's not a knife. Yeah, massive blade with some teeth on it as well, and a studded handguard. You've got his head, which has got this pirate cap. I would have liked to have seen some kind of not parrot, but they do these like orcoid insect bug things. That would have been awesome if it was on his hat or on his shoulder. Maybe if he does get a refresh in plastic, they'll do that for that model. On his banner, he's got the fist, he's got a Bad Moon symbol, he's got other icons and a Space Marine helmet, and of course some teeth. There are teeth everywhere on this model, and that's the reverse. So they've even put the detail of the Space Marine head through the banner as well. So yeah, quite a straightforward model of 4 parts. What I will do now is obviously go away and build him. So this is my part of the video where I will review Kaptain Badrukk. Sometimes I will revert to this format where there'll be an unboxing in the first half and a review in the second. And it is rare that this format works for certain models. Some of the box sets like the Kill Team and the Army sets, it's just not feasible for me to unbox, make the models and review them all in one video within a certain time limit. And plus I like to build some of these in the Warhammer live streams. So let's crack on. The format of this part of the video will be, I'll be looking at the detail of the model, going through how easy it was to build. There are no spare parts, so we'll go straight onto the size comparisons, and then I'll go through all of his rules in the 9th edition codex. So he's fine cast. As I've said in the first part of the video, you don't get you know, a nice looking picture on the box anymore. It's just white. He is, you know, not made to order, but exclusive to order from the Games Workshop web store. You may see him and other finecast models at third-party sellers, and all that means is that they just have to, when they get an order in, they just have to order them direct from Games Workshop. And when something is direct from Games Workshop, like I say, you usually won't get like a box art or cover art or anything like that. In this case, for this and the other finecast models I received, you don't get any instructions on how to build him. So it's a very hit or miss affair. Like all finecast, it is a bit of a pain to clean up, not to put together. You can use super glue and it works quite well. It's soft. Finecast is a type of resin, but it's much softer than the Forge World, darker grey resin. I'd probably say it's one of the hardest materials to work with because of its softness and because of so many gates and flash that's on the model. There's so much cleanup to do, much more than Forge World resin and more than plastic, unless we're talking about Gene Stealers. So he comes in 4 parts: the head, the body, this hand and sword, which is 1 part, and then the back sort of boss banner. There's plenty of detail on him. He originally came out in metal, I want to say early 2000s, and then he was upgraded. He was changed to this fine cast material in, I think, 2007. So his weapon is getting on a bit. It does look a bit old and, you know, reminiscent of the old Ork minis, but the size is all right, and he definitely has the aesthetics of the other flash kits, which we'll be having a look at right now, actually. So So I currently own 5 flash kits. I do need to pick up another box sometime. They're pretty pricey. I think they're like £35 or so, but I think that he works extremely well with them. Certainly fits the aesthetic, except for he's not firing his sort of custom shooter there called the Ripper, which is quite a beastie weapon, and it's worth taking him just for his weapon, really. But yeah, another 5 would fill this unit out brilliantly and bump up the unit size to 10. So comparing him to the others, he's on exactly the same base size. He's a little bit taller just because of his pose. He's still got some thickness to him, and his hand is massive, which is great. I like the foresight there of how big his hand is. He's got a ring. And he's got this kind of pirate hat, this captain hat, which, you know, this one has with his chopper and a bionic forearm. So he definitely fits the aesthetic, especially with this banner pole as well. They've all got banner poles. I believe that they're knobs, sort of knob sized. So, but yes, that's where he stands up next to all of them. So don't think that you're going to be getting a smaller flash kits, or that this character has been dwarfed by these. I say recent models, they did come out like 6-7 years ago, but that's where he stands with those. But if I just compare him to the size of my knob right here, you'll see that the knob is, well, very similar size, probably a little bit taller. I mean, I know the knob's on a sort of tactical rock, but they're a very, very similar size, even though it does have the War Boss keyword, so bear that in mind. I'll get smashed in the comments if I don't compare him to both the Snagger Boy and the new Ork Boy. So if you've got a load of Ork Boys in your army, this is where he stands. He is, you know, a fair bit bigger, and he still has a presence. And then the old Ork Boys from like 20 years ago or so, when I was a child, you know, that's where he stands with those. Quite a detailed model compared to the old plastic kits, and actually still holds up today. Because he's got the War Boss keyword, I'll just compare him to the War Boss in Mega Armor, which is becoming a mainstay of size comparisons with all Orks at the moment, because he's just the biggest Ork, other than Ghazghkull, obviously, and I'll show you Ghazghkull in a moment. But yeah, the War Boss in Mega Armor is just huge compared to him. So I don't know if that helps, but that would be cool to have him and the Heavy Armor War Boss in one army. Here is Ghazghkull. Ghazghkull is absolutely huge, but you can just imagine Badrukk walking up to Ghazghkull and taking some orders, and where he's going to deploy all of his flash kits force. So yeah, that's where he stands with Ghazghkull. And a final comparison I like to make just with some Imperial models right here. So we've got Space Marine on the left, which he's a bit bigger, definitely thicker. Primaris is, I want to say, taller. His head is certainly taller, and he might be dwarfed if you have like 5 or 6 intercessors around him, or Hellblasters. That would be quite fun. Or even any lieutenants or captains would make him look a bit small. But compared to any guard models like Sly Marbo, he's going to be, yeah, just a big, thick Ork. And the final part of this review will be just to go through all of his rules in the 9th edition Ork Codex. You will find him in the HQ section, and he is a power points cost of a 5 and a points cost of 95. If you give him an ammo runt, then that is an extra 5 points, so it's a stat. It will increase his points to 100. His stat line reads, he's a movement of 5 inches, weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 4+, strength 5, toughness 6, 6 wounds, 5 attacks, leadership 8, and a save of 3+. Not too bad right now, and bear in mind he shares the same ballistic skill as the Flash Gits, which is a 4+. So even though he's kind of like the war boss of the, I say most shooty, I mean looters are pretty shooty unit in the Codex, which specialise in ranged weaponry, he still, like the Flash Gits, they all still only have a 50-50 chance of hitting anything. But his actual stat line shows that he is tougher with that toughness 6. He does have 4 extra wounds, you know, he's got 6 wounds instead of the 2. He's got 5 attacks instead of the 3. He's got a better leadership, and he's got that better save of 3+. It's rare to see orcs with saves of a 3+. Mozrog Skragbad is the only other character that has that 3+ save. Typically all the big mechs and war bosses have 4+, and the other characters in Mega Armor, of course, have the 2+. So he's equipped with the Ripper, Slugger, Chopper, Stick Bombs, and your army can only include 1 Kaptain Badrukk model. So what's this ranged weapon then? It's called the Ripper, and it has 2 profiles. He can fire it standard, which is a 24-inch range, heavy 3, strength 7, AP -3, damage 2. That's pretty nice. Although it's 24 inches, it does have a solid 3 shots, and the armor penetration is pretty decent. It's kind of like a boost to the usual Flash Gits snaz guns, which have 1 less strength at 6 and 1 less armor penetration at -2. He can, however, supercharge it, and if he does, the strength goes up to 8 and the damage goes up to 3. Armor penetration remains the same. However, it suffers, much like with the plasma rule. Each time the bearer shoots, if any unmodified hit rolls of a 1 are made for an attack with this weapon, the bearer suffers 1 mortal wound after shooting with this weapon. I mean, he's got 6 wounds, so it might be worth getting that extra damage and the extra strength, especially if you're going after like Space Marine equivalents. He's got a Slugger, not sure why, but he has. It's a range of 12 inches, pistol 1, strength 4, AP 0, and a damage of 1. And he's got a Chopper. Again, would have been nice to see some kind of named Chopper, seeing as he's like one of the richest orcs around. And that Chopper has rings on the other side, so I would have thought it would do a fair bit damage. Maybe, usually when they put rings on blades, it's to potentially break or rip other melee weapons away from your enemy, so that would have been nice to incorporate that. It's a strength of the user, which is 5, AP -1 and damage 1. Each time the bearer fights, it makes 1 additional attack with this weapon. Not to be overlooked though, because obviously he's got a weapon skill of 2+, he's got 5 attacks, and his strength is 5, so it's not too bad in close combat. But I would have liked to have seen them with some kind of like named blade or something. This model can be equipped with 1 ammo runt. What does the ammo runt do? Well, once per battle, when the bearer makes a ranged attack, you can re-roll the hit roll. Now that's worth him having an ammo runt. You may well have one from you know, a second box set of Flash Gits, but it's definitely worth it if you want to supercharge his weapon all day, every day. Abilities, here we go. Gold Tooth Armor. This model has a 4+ invulnerable save. Now that's fantastic. Typically other HQ choices such as war bosses have the Dead Tough rule, which means they get the 5+ invulnerable, or in the case of Mozrog, he's tougher than a rock squig, so he's even tougher than Dead Tough, which is a 4+ invulnerable. So he's the only other orc that gets that 4+ invulnerable save, of course not including Gazgul. And he's got Flashiest Gits Aura. While a friendly Flash Gits unit is within 6 inches of this model, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, re-roll a hit roll of 1. Now that is fantastic. So again, you know, you have 10 Flash Gits surrounding him, they're going to be able to re-roll those hits of a 1, and that's going to be worth it with those 30 shots that they can have. You stack that with your ammo runts as well, then suddenly the 50% chance of you hitting anything becomes an awful lot better. Keywords: Orks, Freebooters, Character, Infantry, War Boss, Flash Kits, Kaptain Badrukk. So there you go, that's my review of Kaptain Badrukk. I think he's still a very awesome looking model, despite him being in this fine cast material. He certainly looks the part compared to the other Flash Kits, and it's just cemented my motivation to pick up another set of Flash Kits at some point. His rules are pretty decent too. His ability to allow all the Flash Kits around him to reroll hit rolls of a 1 is one of the best reasons to pick him up. His weapon is quite decent too, and he's quite survivable with his toughness 6 and his 3+ and 4+ invulnerable. What do you guys think? Please do put your thoughts and opinions of Kaptain Badrukk down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. For Gork and Mork.